Now we're talking about how to heal your relationships. So taking a few moments for the people to join, and we're gonna steam up with the Pranic process online. It's a training of 8 days where we approach all the topics and tips and advice and practices that help you keep a high frequency, beautiful. So there's a big necessity. Person sees me, we turn on in these days. So how many of you are now experiencing a little or more trouble in your relationships? You can comment below in your Facebook or Instagram. And how many of you have found over the years good solutions for relationship balance? So you can type yes for the first questions. How many of you are experiencing relationships trouble? And you can type me for those of you who found solutions in the relationships game so far. I have some tips to offer some guidance on this. So again, for those who are just joining in, you're watching the chat. We feel it's important for our viewers, for the participants in this program and so on. So we are today talking relationships because I've seen so many people suffering or being very affected by the relationships dynamic on their spiritual journey, on their energy flow and so on. There can be an emotional upheaval when relationships are not going so well. And I know that on the planet right now, so many people are very challenged on this topic, either on family relationships or romantic relationships or the relationships with their co-workers and so on. Either of that can be affecting your emotional flow and your energy flow if they're not going well. And that's essential for pranic nourishment, for a pranic lifestyle, for a spiritual lifestyle in general, regardless of the food intake that you're choosing. That's so important to have emotional balance. So the balance in relationships, I would say it comes from emotional balance. It comes from healing or wounds, from accepting our vulnerabilities, and from accepting the vulnerabilities of others as well, to acknowledge that they are vulnerable as well, that they're not always reacting perfectly, that they're not always finding the best ways to express themselves, to express their feelings, to interact with us, to have compassion. That's one word that would define the first step in successful relationships would be compassion. So to look at the other's needs, to know what they feel, or to try to comprehend what they're feeling, to try to always share things in a loving way. And on that, I always recommend Nonviolent Communication, a book that explains a few steps that are useful in in communicating our needs in a harmonious way, to try to or aim to meet our partner's needs, because or the needs of our dear ones. You know, it's not about being overgiving. It's not about being too available. It's always about finding a balance between what you give and how much you put yourself out there, and what you allow yourself to receive, and what the others are willing to share with you in a relationship. So from the perspective of you, the steps are: one, to dwell in an energy of compassion, kindness, and love, to try to comprehend the other person's needs and wants and fears. Sometimes people express themselves from fear and they can hurt us, or they can be not balanced because they are sharing from that energy. But if we are able to go and see beyond their fear, or see beyond their behavior and see the reason of their behavior, then there's always the possibility to find compassion and to drop back into love, or to rise back into love. So always trying to comprehend the other person's point of view, the other person's perspective, to put yourself in their shoes in other ways. That's our job as partners. But on the other hand, it's also our jobs to not be overgiving, to respect our needs, to see our way of keeping a balance, whatever makes our heart sing, whatever is necessary for us to be feeling open and loving and appreciated in a relationship. And if those things aren't met one time, two times, and more, regardless of how much you put yourself in the other person's shoes, you're still gonna feel either disappointed or unappreciated or unloved, because in that person's shoes, that it could be no love. It could be just maybe trauma from other relationships. It could be resentment from past hurts. It could be something that is not presenting itself as love and appreciation for you, and that will hurt you regardless how much, or will deplete you regardless how much compassion you're having. So in this balance between what we're giving and what we are allowing ourselves to receive, we also need to have kindness and compassion for ourselves, to have our needs met, to be able to express our needs, as I said, in a non-violent, non-aggressive, but clear and firm way, and loving, but with boundaries, so to speak, so that our partners, our collaborators, our family, our kids, and whomever else relates with us comprehends which are the things that throw us off, or that kill our buzz, or that are basically blocking our passion or blocking our voice. For example, for me, it's very powerful to feel unlistened to or unheard when I try to express what I'm needing or feeling, and the other person shuts down, or tries to shut me down, or never calls back, even though we are on a long time relationship of some sort. That's for me a no-go. That's blocking my in some way my willingness to open up and keep sharing with that person, because I need to be heard, I need to be met, I need to be listened to. And even though people don't, they don't have to go my way, but at least hear my point of view. That's also very important. And sometimes I need to have feedback, either positive or it can be negative, regarding what I've just said, or regarding what I said I'm needing, or what I've said it upset me. I need to have feedback. I need to have a dialogue, when I'm sharing my needs, when I'm sharing my discontentment especially, I need to have feedback, and it needs to be a dialogue. If there's no dialogue there, if the other person shuts down and it continues to stay closed, then my energy doesn't go in that direction anymore. It doesn't go in the direction of wanting to keep building a communication or a relationship to a person that has just closed up to what I've been sharing. So a mutual, reciprocal, and beneficial communication is essential for me to be able to continue a relationship, be it friendship, family relationship with my coworkers, or in a romantic relationship as well. Especially in romantic relationships, we can be extra sensitive because there's more involved than just emotions. There's also physical contact. There are physical, energy bonds based on physical sharing, and that makes things go deeper, and it makes us more open to certain types of reactions. So that's why sometimes our partners, life partners or romantic partners, can be our greatest teachers, but also the people that can touch us or hurt us the most. So when we're having a partner, when we're having a romantic relationship, it's very, very important to keep in mind that the other person is also vulnerable, that the other person also needs to be heard, that the other person also needs to be met in a certain way, and to know their ways of feeling loved, because most issues in relationships are growing because we're not understanding the other person's ways of feeling loved. And there's a book written about it, as you know, that is called Languages of Love. And there are several love languages that once we comprehend and decipher for our partners, we are more able to relate with them in a mutual beneficial way, because we don't all have the same language. And what I feel as love for you might be insignificant or not, not so important. What you might feel as love, for me, it might not be crucial. For example, and I'm going to talk about these 5 languages just because they are applicable in any type of relationship, not just the ones with the loved ones. We also, our family and our kids, our co-workers, they all need love, first of all, and they all need to, for us to understand, to try to comprehend their love languages and express that, for them to feel maybe, if not loved in a work relationship, at least appreciated. Even though love is the best glue for business or any partnership of any kind, appreciation would be the first step. So the love languages that I was telling you about are the following. So some people feel loved when we say kind and nice words to them, when we share things that are appreciative. Oh, how beautiful you are, how wonderful you're dressed today, or either appreciation for their physical qualities or the things they do for us, or both, or telling them how we feel about our romantic or love bond is very, very important to them. And if we don't do that, they feel unloved regardless of how many other things we do for them. So understanding that for some people appreciation and beautiful words are essential might save us some really tremendous hardship in relationship if we are able to speak their language and be more appreciative and more vocal about our feelings for them. Another love language is the quality time we spend together with our dear ones. So some people find it essential that their partner or their family spends quality time with them. Either first having lunch together, or sharing some things together, playing games together, watching movies, going on trips together, having walks, whatever they like. They feel appreciated when their partners or the people around them agree to offer their time and their attention to do things together, things that we both like, and they feel really unappreciated when their dear ones are too busy or too distracted, and they don't offer that in the relationship. So even though for you quality time might not be so important, even though you might be a business person or a busy person that doesn't really pay attention to how much time you spend with your family and dear ones, the ones around you might need it. And it's very important that you save some time with them in order for them to feel love, even though you don't need it specifically. So comprehending this love language again, and I think this is essential for most of us, because that's why we choose to be in groups, in society, in relationships, and in families, to be able to have beautiful moments with other people. Otherwise, we would just sit there by ourselves, being monks or meditating in a cave, and we would be happy with that. I honestly had times like this, and I appreciate solitude as well. I appreciate time by myself and being a lot of time in silence, but I've come to value relationships and together time over the years, because I've seen how much emotional nourishment it can offer if it's done with quality people. Another love language that is essential to some is the gifts. You know, how for some people, no matter how much time you spend with them, no matter how much words of appreciation and love you share with them, they want to see some material manifestation of your love. And they feel really, really appreciated or loved when you give them gifts. It doesn't have to be big things. For some, it's enough to give them, drop of essential oil that you like, or that they like, or a beautiful piece of jewelry or something like this. It doesn't have to be the moon in the sky or a dozen roses, but small gifts, small acts of kindness, they are the love language that those people are decoding, and they are feeling really, really sad if they come across a stingy partner or a family member that is not so giving in that aspect of material gifts, and they will always feel that that person doesn't love them, regardless of how much love you share in other ways, right? So be mindful of the people that have this love language, because they might feel unappreciated if you don't do these gestures for them. And again, it can be a flower. It doesn't have to be costly. Other people feel very appreciated when you touch or cuddle, and if it's a romantic partner in sexual union, that's their way of feeling loved. So regardless of how much you do for them in other ways, they won't feel loved or appreciated if you don't share your love in that specific way, to be affectionate, to be touchy-feely, to hug them, to be romantic and intimate with them. And if you're rather a cold partner that doesn't value the pleasure of hugging, the pleasure of touching, the pleasure of lovemaking, even maybe there's some trauma or something that is keeping you from opening up to that, then your partner is always going to feel unappreciated, unloved, hungry for affection in some way if you don't express your love on their language, which is touch and caress and physical affection of all kinds. So be mindful of the people that have that way of expression, or that way of feeling loved, because they are feeling really hurt, especially in partnerships where maybe you've been very tender and affectionate at the beginning, and over time you've become too busy or too distracted to caress your partners, to do massage together, to do some moments of hugging and cuddling together, or to even make love to each other. When that happens, when one of the partners is pulling away their affection, their physical affection after a while, even though there's been affection in the beginning, that can create a lot of hurt and trauma in the other partner. And also in families, when the parents no longer share physical affection and no longer hug their children, the regardless of the age, we're still children of our parents to some level. Well, that may cause to some degree disappointment or heartbreak in your dear ones. So again, be mindful of their love language, and make sure that you make time to open up and hug them and cuddle them and make love to them and be skillful at lovemaking. That's also important, and so on. So that's another love language. And last but not least, there are people like me who are feeling loved when you do nice things for them, when you do things that they need, or things that they are feeling happy about. For me, even small gestures like someone picking something that I've dropped, or opening the door, or taking some task off my shoulders, or just being kind enough to carry something that's too heavy. Whatever is a kind gesture, for me, is an expression of love. I love to hear the words, and loving words and appreciating words, and I love you and so on. But if it's not followed by action, and if it's not reflected in one's behavior, in one's affection, and in my partner's willingness to do nice things and to help me, then I don't feel loved. And there's many people like me where words don't really ponder that much, and gifts are nice. I love gifts, but anybody can spend some money and throw some jewels and flowers at you without feeling much in their heart. But when people are really open, in my opinion, to do kind gesture for each other, and even sometimes going an extra mile, or doing something that might be a little uncomfortable or out of their comfort zone, that's when I feel they really love me. Because common things anybody can do, but when you're going out of your comfort zone a little bit, I do feel loved, and I do feel appreciated, I do feel cherished. And I'm also ready to go out of my comfort zone for when people around me need me, because we're only living together in this setting. We don't know if we meet again, and we don't know how much time we have together. So being kind and loving and open to each other and helping and supporting each other is essential, and it's the key to energy flow, to better energy flow between us, and better energy flow in our body as well. So these four languages being said, I'm curious to know which one is yours. Which one is your love language, and how do you feel nourished in your heart by the ones around you? What makes you feel loved? What makes you feel appreciated and cherished? Let me know in the comments. Either those 5 that I've listed, or another thing that might not be in my mind right now. You can write in the comments what makes you feel loved, what's important for you in a relationship, and are you offering that thing as well? That's also another thing that is good to know. For example, if you're having this light language of offering kind gestures to your partner or family, and they are not having the same love language, they might feel overwhelmed by your willingness to be around them, to help them, to make yourself available. They don't understand that love language, and they might feel pressured, or They might feel trespassed by your willingness to help. So try to understand their love language and see what they need in order to feel love. For me, it's a little bit of all, right? Because if a person is always doing nice gestures, but then there's always criticism, I won't feel love. If a person does nice gestures, but there's no physical expression, hugging, and if a partner, there's no hugging and no physical intimacy, then I don't really feel love. If we do nice things together, if a person does things for me from time to time, which make me feel loved, but we have no quality time together, and they're always distracted or busy or running around, I'm not gonna feel that my time and presence is appreciated in that relationship or in that collaboration. So every light language and love language is important, but there's a main one, the most important one, and then the subsequent ones or the subsidiary ones that you also might need to learn, because love is expressed in any way, and the more you express it, the more you actually gain. So there's never a shortage of people needing love. Everybody's hungry for it, and that's why relationships are becoming so hard in this century, because people have learned so well to hide away, ignore, or block their loving feelings. So as I was saying in the beginning, there's so many things that people are doing in order for the others to not know that they are loved. There's so many, I'm looking at movies or dating coaches and so on that are basically offering advice of how to manipulate the other into thinking that you're not so available, not so loving, not so open, so on. So I am literally worried of these types of advice, because I know they are creating separation instead of creating unity and collaboration. If you're hiding your feelings, if you're trying to manipulate the situation by making the other think that you mean less to them that you actually mean, and that you feel less for them than you actually feel, then of course the one losing is you first and foremost. And one other thing that I feel to add, and please remember that this is an 8-day program that you can join, and I'm only here with you on Facebook and Instagram for a few moments, and then I'm continuing for my participants in the program with the daily meditation that includes singing bowls. So of course today we have the bowl of the sacral chakra, the chakra of relationships, but we also have other bowls like the flower of life and the big one here that is beautiful Buddha bowl, and we're using them all in our final meditation to heal and harmonize our relationship light codes. So whomever wants to participate in this full webinar and the meditation at the end, and to include yourselves in the whole program of 8 webinars, please say yes in the comments. And also, of course, there's a payment involved. I'll put a link in the comments for you to know how you can join the whole Pranic process online. And feel free to join anytime. We'll watch the recordings if you can't be in all the live events, and you'll also have lifetime access to all meditations, so that you can repeat them for as long as you want, whenever you need them, because they contain really powerful light codes that for sure are going to help you ages from now. It's not a time-based class, but it's a timeless class. I've been teaching it since 2013, and it's helped many people raise their frequency, change their lives, and grow deeper into pranic nourishment, but most important, higher consciousness, and to maintain a high vibration for this consciousness to arise. I was saying that relationships are really, really important. Because so many people on a spiritual path, on a pranic journey and so on, are being destabilized by their emotional upheavals, by the ups and downs in their relationships, either family or romantic relationships or partnerships at work or friendship relationships. They are being destabilized if there's not a beautiful energy flow with their dear people. So to ensure that you have a beautiful flow in your life, you need to make sure that you are educating yourself in the realm of relationships. Because think about it, in school we are educated about math, different languages, physics, history, geography, and so on. Then in university we specialize in certain areas of activity, but nobody really teaches us in our learning years. Nobody really teaches us about relationships properly unless you go to additional trainings or holistic classes in some way. Then you're basically not being educated, and the only education we've got is the one that we've received from our families, and these might not always be harmonious, or from our interaction with other people. We've seen them interact with each other and we've concluded, oh, so this is relationships, this is how we should do them, and then if we fail, it's because our training wasn't good. We haven't looked at the harmonious relationship. Many of us, we had families that haven't been harmonious. We've had bosses and colleagues that haven't been harmonious, or in school teachers, when we were little, teachers that haven't been harmonious, and that's the relationship patterns that we've learned. So in my case, I've had to unlearn and unteach myself those patterns, and to study for years and practice for years the harmony of relationships and the language of love instead of the language of control and manipulation that we've been taught in all these realms, in order for me to have balanced relationships as much as possible in this century. So I've been placing the link in the comments for you to be able to join this program. And of course, you can also, if you're on Instagram, you can find it in bio. So there's a bio, and you can find Pranic Process online there, which is offering all the details for your participation. And if you don't have time to look at all these links now, you can just type yes in the comments. You're included in the webinar until the end, so that you can watch the meditation and everything and meditate with us, and then you make the payments after. So that's also a possibility. I've been rambling so far, and I'm preparing to close and be with my participants. So let me know, is there anything that you would like to ask or add? And again, I'm curious to know what's your love language. So Damre, thank you. Camelia, thank you. Marianne and Sophia and Adrian, please let me know in your comments, and whomever else is here, of course, from all over the world. Let me know what's your love language. Is it loving words? Is it cuddling and touching and intimacy? Is it love gestures, the nice things that people do for you that make you feel loved, the quality time that people spend with you, or is it the gifts? So 5 light languages, which one is yours? Which is the main one? I'm curious to know. One last thing that I feel to add, especially for people who have specific lifestyle that is spiritual or is completely out of the box. Your families and dear ones might be scared at first, especially because they're worried about you, but also because you're getting out of control. From their perspective, you're no longer doing or being something that is relatable to them. They don't have your practice, they don't have the same field of areas of interest, so they are feeling they are losing control, or they're losing something that they could grasp on regarding your person, so they get scared. And in them getting scared, most times or sometimes they are reacting inappropriately. They might be reacting in ways that you don't feel appreciated or loved with. And please remember that it's all this is also out of some sort of attachment or love that they have for you. It's because they care for you. It's because they're trying to be around you, but they don't know how. So it's very important that we are kind with the people around us when we change our lifestyle and our life. And it's very important that we acknowledge the fact that it might be hard for them at first, or to some in a longer time, it might be hard for them to accept or comprehend our lifestyle and our choices, and to embrace them as well. And so we're never meant to push our family into embracing our lifestyle. That's one big mistake that creates separation, that creates suffering, and creates division in families, in relationships, in partnerships, and so on. Trying to force a person to adopt your way of being and your ideas and your ways of healing and everything is making them feel pushed, unappreciated, unloved, and sometimes not good enough, So that's why always try to be open to their lifestyle. If you want for them to be open to yours, try to not push them if you want to not be pushed back. Try to not judge them if you don't want to be judged for your choices, and try to accept the fact that they don't understand or embrace what you are doing, feeling, or thinking, especially if it's new for you and them. And if it's about pranic lifestyle especially, the concept of people not eating scares almost everyone. So give them time to get used to that. And also give yourself time to transition in a harmonious way, so that you look healthy, so that you feel vibrant, so that you feel relatable. Because if you're skinny or depleted or not doing well, especially at the beginning of your pranic practice, your family will get scared and it will try to stop you, and it's going to be hard for them to accept. So give them time while you give yourself time to be in balance. And of course, if you need help, you always have me, and there's others, of course, that are offering help on this. But this program of 8 days or 8 webinars is amazing for transitioning to and maintaining a lighter diet, as well as a high realm of consciousness. So link in bio on Instagram, link in the comments on Facebook. Hope to meet you soon. Thank you, Damre, for commenting. Everything is love. I love everything on my beloved. Ooh, I love to end the live transmission with that and continue with my meditation on Zoom with our participants. Big hugs to the